Okay. Then sir, how do I go live on Facebook?
कर दिया ना स्टार्ट ब्रॉडकास्ट.
मैंने तो start करा है. I haven't posted that live on Facebook. Is there some option to put it live on Facebook from here?
नहीं अभी नहीं है शायद, जो मैंने ट्राई नहीं किया था.
Okay. Hello, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Good
evening,
evening.
ma'am.
This is weekend great. This is very nice. Huh? I think so. This is clearer.
Yes.
Mr. Nitin is there?
No, ma'am, I have just messaged him. He said that he will join 10 minutes before, so.
It's okay. Yeah. I quite like this system. Huh? Right? What about rest of us? और कोई नहीं आया अभी तक? Saurabh, I
अभी कोई
can't
नहीं आया.
see. Saurabh is
Saurabh
signed
Chef
in,
is
right?
there.
Saurabh not.
Chef, you are here?
Yes,
Saurabh
sir, I'm
Chef?
here only. Yes, sir.
I can't see you. I can't see you.
Camera is off. Chef, there's an option for camera on the right hand side. You will see.
From where are you speaking?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
he's
can
on
see.
there.
Remove your mask. There is even chat now. What?
Chandra, once I will turn on the recording, I will tell you. Then you will start. This time we'll put
Okay.
this whole screen on our YouTube channel. The new thing we
Okay.
will promote this also. Just a minute, I'll turn on these things. Because as of now, we know just two options for this thing. I'll use some other software for this process.
He messaged me, I'm joining. Let's see.
Okay.
Nitin sir, will links आप please forward कर दो for tomorrow's and the day after tomorrow session.
वो मैं कर देता हूँ सर. अभी बना रहा हूँ, बस वही बना रहा था एक्चुअली, उसी का ही ERP कर रहा हूँ. इसमें थोड़ा सा कॉन्फ़िगरेशन बैक एंड पे थोड़ी सी ज्यादा है.
Yes, that's why आपको
मैं कर देता हूँ. वो भी आपके पास
Okay,
आ
sir.
जाएंगे अपने आप ऑटोमेटिक.
Okay, sir.
Nitin sir, good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me and see me well?
Yes, we can.
Yes, yes, sir, we can hear you. Sir, you can switch on your camera. Can you
If
sir,
we
you can
coming on
guide
the
him?
right hand side on top, you will see a video disabled thing coming. You can click there, the camera will get turned on, sir.
So I have so when I have clicked on that, but I think the image is still not going. Let me try once again.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir.
Or I'll join once again.
Sure, sir.
Sir, it will ask you to, you allow it or you.
So I actually I'm clicking on that where it says you're not sending your video. So
Sir, it
I'm
must be
clicking on
asking
that
you. There will be
and
a.
So you can try now once again.
Okay, is it on now?
Not yet, sir. Oh yes, now it's
Yes,
on,
it's
sir.
on. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Wonderful.
Good evening, sir.
I'm very well, and good evening to us.
Sir, I would like you to introduce you to our dean, Dr. Garima Prakash. He is dean of Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School, Sushant School.
Right.
And
Good evening,
we
ma'am.
have our so we have Mr. Sunil Kumar, who is our program director of the school.
How are you
Then we
doing,
have
sir?
Chef Saurabh Chabra.
Very well, sir. Hello,
And
Mr.
we have
Chabra.
Mr. Deepak Chabra.
Hello, sir. How are you, Nitin, sir?
Good evening, sir. Mr. Deepak, how are you? Very well. So first of all, thank you very much for giving this invite to me. Really honored, and really appreciate this effort made by Chandana, you, and everybody else to invite me on this forum.
Sir, it's our sir.
So the pleasure and the privilege is all ours.
Great, ma'am. Chandana, so we start another. There is some background noise. Is there something I can do? Is it coming from me
No,
or is
it's
it
taken
only
care of.
coming?
Not from your side, sir. Not from your side.
Okay.
It's fixed.
So,
We just gone for a minute. I'll just start.
all right. So now, Chandana, we have this event begins at 4, right?
So we'll go live at 4 o'clock and at Vatel.
All right. And and how many students are there on this call?
Sir, we have there are attendees who are still joining in. So we will be having a good number. We are expecting our aspiring students as well as our new students, current students.
Okay. So I'm like, that number is not important to me, but it just sort of gives you an idea how many people you are talking to. Is there anything that you want
Yes,
to brief me or advise me
No,
before the
sir,
event?
I've already told you. You just have to give us some insights from the top. Basically, you want to know more about facility management, and then we will be having a
All
Q&A
right. So
session.
yeah, that's what I'm most comfortable with, and so I'll be speaking from my experience, from my knowledge, rather than anything theoretical, because this is what we do on a day-to-day basis. And if you just give me a moment, I'll also take off my blazer because then I'm in line with everybody else.
It's hot.
And
Yes,
less
sir.
formal. Yeah, much better. Perfect. So, basically,
Sir, I would request. Yes, sir.
yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I was just asking Garima ma'am if she can give a little brief about the university and the Vatel Association, what we have to you, because you also were asking me, what's this university and what we are. So I would like Garima ma'am to do it, please. Ma'am, if you can please brief sir about our university and the school.
Yeah, sure, Chandana. Thank you. So, Mr. Nitin, our university was set up in 2013 with the name of Ansal University, and just from this semester we have changed the name from Ansal to Sushant University. Although we go back a long way when the Sushant School of Art and Architecture was made, which is long way, and that is a legacy in itself. And so that is the reason that the name has been kind of changed in the market, because there was a lot of confusion in between Ansal and Sushant. So we thought, why not convert it into Sushant? There's a lot of disturbance. Sunil Chef, can we take care of this? Sunil Chef, can we take care of the disturbance? There's a lot of disturbance.
Now it's quite clear, ma'am. At least from my side, I can hear you very well now, ma'am.
So, and now, yeah, it's getting better now. So now what happens, so the university, it has 8 schools in the university, engineering, architecture, design, hotel, management. And ours is the hotel management school, which is the Vittel Hotel and Tourism Business School. So Vittel Hotel and Tourism Business School is a pioneer in hospitality business education in the world. They have campuses all across the continent, with 50 campuses around the world. And so ours is a Vittel India campus, which is associated with Sushant. So that is how we come under the umbrella of Sushant University, but it is the Vittel India school itself. So it's not a franchisee or academic collaboration. It itself is the Vittel campus. So obviously the students get dual degrees. They get one degree from Sushant University and the other degree International. It's a great program in terms of student exchange, international internships, and the curriculum is mapped all across 50 schools. So, and it's also just not a hotel management college or a school. It's a business school which offers a hotel management degree, and we produce more holistic hotel management professionals, and not like probably what a hotel management colleges would produce. So it's more tuned and emphasized on entrepreneurial and leadership and other kind of business ideas. So it's a 4 years program, and the kids get a lot of opportunities to travel around the world in this. They can do 1 year exchange program in any of the English speaking campuses, which is like 21 campuses across the world. And the French connection is very, very strong. And obviously they're getting a dual degree and an international degree, which really takes care of them throughout their professional careers. So that's about the school and the university.
In fact, I'd love to, once this corona situation is under control, I'd love to visit sometime. Because, ma'am, actually, my own knowledge, my background is more into logistics. I have done about 17 years of logistics business before I moved into facility management. But again, I found that there are best practices that you can take from both sides, and learn the. I have actually learned the FM or the hospitality business, as you call it. This is something I've learned over the last 5-6 years. But needless to say, I have a lot of experience in the service industry, and again, I have worked in different parts of the world. But I believe there is, for me, there is lots to learn, and from people like you, institutions like yours, and even from some of your students, I believe. So that's how I feel about.
I would say, with the kind of experience you come from, that is very humbling. It's a very humble thought. But thank you so much. I think so wonderful to have you, and it's a great pleasure to have you here, and we're eternally grateful for that. And as you said, we would love to host you once all this is behind us.
Right. Okay. So I'm ready, Chandana, when you are.
Yes, sir. We'll just go live in some minutes, and then.
I will give just another 3-4 minutes for more people to come in, because it's a new platform
I'm
today.
absolutely comfortable. I'm
Just
absolutely
another 3-4 minutes, then we'll start off.
So, Chandana, also the brief that you gave me was that initially I can give you my view on the industry and what's happening in the industry nowadays. And typically the FM, I'll be talking about the FM industry.
Yes, sir.
And so I will try to show you the industry from 3 sides. One is from customer side, one is from I would say the people side, people who work in the industry, and third is of course the FM companies, because what happens in the FM companies is actually right at the end. It's people and customers who come first. So I will speak about 3-4 minutes. And I think then there'll be some questions that you'd be asking, and then there'll be an open house, and that's how the whole thing is scheduled.
Yes, that is
correct?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Okay. Right. So I think I'm quite all right.
Okay.
But do you have a lot of people from the businesses who from your campus who would go and join the FM industry, or most people go into hotels, ma'am?
So mainly they go into hotels, but I want to showcase this also, that this is also an option for the students. Because I have seen housekeepers and restaurant managers, taking up facility management, and they're doing very well in this field. So even for our students, even I want to show them that how, apart from hotels, facility management is also a line which they can choose in future. So that is the reason why we thought of calling you, somebody expert like you in FM, and discuss this thing.
But the aspect is towards hotels. That's the if you join
Yes,
a Oberoi or a Taj, that is the.
Yes, sir. Initially it is, but yes, on a longer run, if you think, even for that matter, my husband has shifted from hotels to cinemas now. So that is the reason, because we're not limited to only hotels. When we say hospitality, it is customer-based industry. So, there are so many open places where we can go. So facility management being one of them. So
Right.
Ma'am, I think we'll start now. So give me 10
Okay.
seconds. I'll give you a head start. Right?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
10 seconds max. Let's start now.
Okay.
You're live.
Good evening, everyone. I, Chandana Paul, Assistant Professor in Hotel and Tourism Business School, Sushant University, welcomes you all to the webinar. Today is day 3 of the workshop series Hospitality and Tourism Interface, focused on evolving traveler sentiments during this COVID era. Today's topic is Housekeeping COVID-19 Secure Toolkit. The COVID-19 outbreak has acted as a catalyst change and has reiterated the need to pay attention to how facilities are being managed and services are being delivered. All built environments, owned or leased offices, warehouses, retail stores, manufacturing facilities will require careful consideration and tailored plans. With health and wellness becoming key focus areas, as we move forward, the role of facility management service providers can all become more strategic and long-term in nature, with facets like hygiene and safety gaining importance for everyone. Technology and changing attitudes will drive increased sophistication in facilities management. The role of facility management is emerging from just being a service provider to promoting a culture anchored by work practices, quality, talent development, technology, and analytics. And to speak out on this topic, we have called Mr. Nitin Dave. He is an enthusiastic, innovative, and a multi-skilled professional who has more than 20 years of experience in general management, senior sales and marketing roles. He has worked in different industries across multiple cultures and geographies throughout Europe, Southeast Asia, and India. Under his agile leadership, Tenon FM is registering a commendable growth over the years in terms of both business expansion and revenue. In his illustrious career, Mr. Nitin has been responsible for building a root in sustainable business services with multidisciplinary teams. He has turned around units into profitable zones with adherence to standards and compliance, creating a strong customer base and infrastructure to establish long-term customer relationships. Nitin, before associating with Tenon, he has worked with G4S Facility Services India as Director of Facility Management. He has also worked for Mr. T Express in multiple roles and geographies. His last assignment in TNT was Regional Director, North and East India. I would now request Mr. Nitin to please give us some insight on how facility management companies are moving forward in meeting the expectation and demands of the client in this present scenario. Sir, over to you, please.
Okay, Chandana, thank you very much for such a good introduction, and thank you, Dr. Garima and the team from the Sushant School for inviting me to this forum. And I'm really honored to be here. And once again, thank you very much. And I also thank all of you to join in. And I hope, as Chandana was saying, I have a lot of experience in the service industry. But I have done about 17, 18 years in the logistics industry in different parts of the world. And once I moved from the logistics industry to the facility management industry, it was an eye opener for me. I think it's an amazing industry. They say the current size of this industry in India of the organized market is close to 18,000 crores. By 2025, this industry is expected to be 50,000 crores. And please understand, when I'm saying 50,000 crores, I'm talking about the organized market. Please remember that every building in this country and all over the world, every building needs to be maintained. And when you have to maintain a building, that's when a facility management, I would say facility management industry or facility management solutions come into play. So it's a very large industry. It's growing at a very fast pace. Now, I don't want to talk about just the last 3 months where Corona has been an impact, but this industry year on year has been growing by 18%. And very recently, I went back to the management school from where I passed out, and I started speaking about facility management. And most people in the management institute, they did not know what is facility management. And they were not sure whether they should join this industry. I asked them a simple question. Can any of you tell me a single industry which is growing by 18% year on year? Is it telecom? Is it IT? Is it automobile? And they found that none of these industries were actually giving an year on year growth of 18%. Now, if it is such a large industry, it is growing at such a fast pace, if it employs thousands of people and thousands of premises across the country, be it the data centers, be it the government offices, be it the hotels, all manufacturing units, if all of them require your inputs, how are we actually running this industry? So this industry has been running, and but running in its own way. And in my opinion, it needs youngsters like you to enter this industry, because this industry needs new talent, it needs new ideas, it needs technology, it needs people who can give a management framework to this industry. And that is what also attracted me to this industry. So this is what I feel about the industry on the whole. The various scenarios, but let me talk about, because Chandana, your question specifically about was, or the brief was to talk about how this industry is managing in today's time, and especially from a Corona point of view, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So whether Corona or no Corona, I would say the industry runs on two groups of people. There are two most important stakeholders, I would say. So one stakeholder is people who work in this industry, and second are the customers. And I believe if you take care of these two groups, revenue and profits are just an outcome in this industry, and I would say for most of the service industry. Now, let me go specifically how these two groups, customer and people, are doing, and then you'll automatically know what the FM industry is doing. So let's look at the industry, how this industry is faring in times of Corona. So I would say the worst affected in this industry is in this Corona crisis is the entertainment, retail, and the travel industry. So be it an airline, be it a cinema, they are the worst affected. People whose fortunes are going up in this time, I would say, are the e-commerce and logistics, because you're ordering more from, you're not going to shops, you're ordering from Amazon more and more, you're ordering from Flipkart more and more. Organizations that have stayed put, and I would say another group that is doing extremely well at this point of time are health insurance companies. They are again, reaping the benefits of this crisis. Organizations that are stable are banks, life insurance companies. Manufacturing has made a comeback. So manufacturing stopped completely, but now it's made a comeback. And IT and ITES also form part of essential services, and they have adapted. They were the first guys to adapt really well, because now all the IT development is happening from home. So this is how various people are affected. Different people are affected in different ways. But I would say at this point of time, most organizations have made a strategy to come back to combat these crises. Now, the second is the people who are working in this industry, right from the person on the ground to senior people. And there was initially a lot of confusion. People have gone through very difficult times. I'm really proud to say that right from a person on ground, right at the janitor on the ground or the electrician on the ground to a security guard, to senior people, they have really adapted. They have changed. They have changed their role from being, say, a cleaner or a maintainer to a protector. So a security guard even protects you today, when you enter a building. And so is the role of a cleaner, who is not just cleaning, he's sanitizing and he's offering you protection. So that's how the two segments, the customers and the people, they have changed. But let me talk something very specifically about the hospitality sector, and that should interest you as students of this business. What is happening in this sector? How have they adapted? What do they need to do? And what are a couple of points what is the gist of what I see every day? That is something I might like to share with you. So one, I think the hospitality sector and the sector in which all of you are really needs to play a very strong role in stopping COVID. There is no doubt about it, and this role is extremely, extremely critical. And as I said, that we have to turn not just guards or cleaners, but we have to turn into protectors. To do this, the role of technology is extremely important. So when you're talking about security, you should talk about contactless security. Nobody has to touch each other. You don't have to pick up a pen that is lying, and you shouldn't be writing on a register. If you're doing FM, more of the FM should be contactless. So you don't have to touch a sanitizer bottle. How the surface is sanitized, or what's really happening. So the amount of technology that you use, be it an Arogya Setu app, be it some of these contactless cameras, which can actually monitor how many people are wearing masks. So at some places we have actually installed cameras which monitors the temperature of all the people which are walking in. And this is not about the gun that is pointed at you, but these are high-tech cameras which are placed, and they automatically point out a person if a person has fever or any other issue. It scans around the building and tells you how many people are wearing masks, how many people are not wearing masks, and a whole lot of other information it gives about large offices that helps us actually maintain the building. So technology is extremely important. Second point is communication. This is, the last man on the ground should understand what is the role that he needs to play. Communication is critical. And last is agility. You have to move fast in today's time. Now, as an industry, we have to define standards. Look, this is the standard. When you walk into an office, this is going to be the standard. And you guys are students, and I'm sure you read a lot of material. And if you really ask me, what is the standard for entering a building? Different people will say different things. But proper standards need to come up. And I think ultimately, when you come to a human level, we all have to build trust. As an industry, as hospitality professionals, all of us, who are on this forum, we need to build trust. So that employees, when they come to the offices, or patrons, when they come into hotels, and they feel safe, that we will look after them. So these are some of my thoughts. This is what industry should do. This is what industry is doing. And last but not the least, Winston Churchill said, and this is my last statement because I'd rather answer some questions and rather focus on what people on this forum may like to know. But Winston Churchill said once that never waste a good crisis. We have a crisis. With this crisis, we are changing, we are adapting, we are learning new things. So all of us need to upgrade our skills. This crisis has taught us a lot of things, be to wash hands, be to do these seminars or make the most effective use of technology and webinars. So net, it's about what's your agility, how much you upgrade your skills, your knowledge, how much of technology you use. Because if you're looking back to going back to where we were and work in the same way, things are never going to be the same again. So the faster you upgrade your skills, even if you're a student or if you're a sort of a managerial professional like me, we need to learn and upgrade our skills. So these are my broad thoughts about customers, people, the professionals who are working on ground, and what FM sector is doing at this point of time. Channa.
Thank you, sir. I think it's really required, change is necessary, and I think after COVID, all the changes will be positive and it is going to stay with us. People didn't had a habit of using sanitizer, now they are using it. So change is necessary and change is important, and this will be a positive one. Sir, we have some questions for you if you would like to answer them. So my first question is, that India is on the verge of unveiling the Unlock 3.0. Following which, it is expected major industries and enterprises will throw their doors open and will gear up themselves to serve them with a business. So the question is, the outsourced manpower, which we know that facility management provides, the outsourced manpower with people who are here right now, they are in their native towns and villages. You have to get them back, and you have to train them with the latest guidelines. So how indeed you are going to not do such colossal task now when everything is going to be open very soon? We are expecting to be opening very soon, and this is not a small task; it's a colossal task.
Yeah. So, Channa, see, if you're in the FM industry, let me tell you one thing that a sector can stop. One great thing about the FM industry is it always keeps moving. A building has to be cleaned, it has to be cleaned, period. If you have to maintain the electricity, then you have to maintain the electricity. And so maintenance is something that's very inherent. This sector may not be, it's not very, I would say, it's not, okay, the word I can use is it's not very savvy, but it's always there. It's always there at the background, and you'd be surprised that the question that you ask, how do you get people back? How do you train people? How do you do this? But my company has a manpower of about 80,000 people that is on our payroll across the country. And I can tell you that more than 65,000 people are still deployed on ground. Your banks are open. You go to most offices, they're open in some form or the other. They may have lesser attendance, but they're open. If you talk about some of all the automotive plants that we manage at this point of time, right from a Maruti Suzuki, and if there are youngsters on this forum who drive the Royal Enfield, that is a plant that we manage. It's open. Motorbikes are getting produced. So is true for all the automotive plants and all the power plants. Everybody's open because electricity is coming to your house. The banks are working. The IT companies are working. The sectors are open. So some of the things that I was talking about, agility, some of the things I was mentioning about need to adapt and to become a protector, I think the industry has already moved on and most of the organizations are open at this point of time and are getting serviced. I would say the exceptions and where is the gap? The gap is, I would say, in the entertainment industry, the malls, some of the malls, and those kind of areas. Rest of the organizations are all open now. But still, I would agree, it's a colossal task. It's not it's not normal. And if you ask all 80,000 people in the organization to do something differently, it is a colossal task. But that's where the role of, I would say three things are very important, which I have mentioned before. And this is also my suggestion to all the hospitality professionals. So one is the use of technology. I'll give you, and second is communication. I'll give you a very small example. The 80,000 people that we have in our company, they're in all locations, right from a Tamil Nadu, where the Royal Enfield, the Bullet motorcycle is manufactured, to the Vedanta plant, which makes aluminium, to some of the banks and ATMs, where all of us visit. Now, these people have different languages, different cultures. How do I make videos? And first of all, best way to talk to people is mobile. Yeah, and that's a very, very powerful tool. And everything that we used to do physically, we are trying to have I wouldn't say an electronic replication, but I would say a mobile replication. So we gave a brief to our trainer. I said, make a video which is maximum. We gave a very tight brief to this gentleman. We were all sitting in a room, and we told him to come up with a concept that come up with a video which is 2 minutes long, gives people all the ideas on how to protect themselves and their colleagues around them. It should use only very simple words. The maximum, I'm giving you a vocabulary of 5 words. Yes, no. We gave just 5 words. Just use these 5 words and make a video that can talk to everybody in the country. Because by the time we make video in 5 languages, translate them, we have lost 20 days. And 20 days in these times were, unthinkable. Agility is one point I spoke to you about. And the guy came up with an amazing video. We sent that video all over the country, and I'm happy to share it with some of you if you want to. And we sent it to all our customers, and it came out in the first 5 days of this crisis. And I think it was a wonderful tool to talk to everybody across the country. So communication and technology, use of technology are very, very critical. The third stakeholder is, people, because everything is about people. This is a people industry. So, and I'll speak about people a little later. So at any point of time, because that's something that I would like to elaborate, because people in any solution that you talk about, everything is around people. It's a people industry. So these are some of my thoughts. The industry has adapted, it has moved, it is serving, and it is protecting. And a lot of action has happened across the country in the last three months in this industry.
Yes, sir. Exactly said. Yes, technology and communication, very important things which every industry is to adopt in order to remain in this situation. Sir, one more question I have. Sir, in the domain of facility management, the manpower you possess, I'm specifically talking about housekeeping and security. They are minimal qualified and they are unskilled. So who have not been exposed to any formal exposure to the metro culture or to this situation for that matter. What do you think would be your training exposure strategy, such manpower? And specifically talking about housekeeping and security here.
Right. So, so first of all, the crisis also brings out the best in people, and it has really brought out the best in the people. Now, but the specific questions that you asked, that how do you manage the manpower? How do you motivate them? Or what do they need to do with us at this point of time? So, first of all, to motivate people, one is we need to make sure that there is new learning for everybody. And that, believe me, it applies to a housekeeper and a guard as much as it does to me and perhaps some of the students, in my opinion, on this forum. So new learning is valid for everybody. I've already spoken about the importance of communication, and combination of communication and new learning is critical. And new learning is important because your role is changing. You're no longer a cleaner or a security guard. You're also a COVID warrior. Your role is to instill trust. Your role is to protect from corona. Yeah. So it is if you look at from a security guard point of view, if he lets a person in who has fever, if he lets a person in whose Arogya Setu is showing that you're not safe, think of it as a role. And think of the guy, because this virus is sitting on surfaces. Think of the man who's cleaning, housekeeping you're talking about, who has not cleaned the surface well. So, that communication is important to them. But to manage this, what we are doing is we are doing a whole lot of trainings and new learnings. We are doing communication on a very mass scale. We are doing recognition, and recognition has in this industry there is nothing more power, and I would say in any industry. Even today, I'm like, after working for 25 years, if somebody tells me, look, hey, Nitin, you've done a good job, I really feel great about it. And if you give a pat on the back, nothing like it. And so communication and a career plan. So people who are doing well and how they can move to the next stage of career, that is extremely important. So a combination of these things, which is basic of people management, is something that we are doing. And if you ask me to summarize in one line, what's your career plan? What is the role that you play in this scenario? How do you fit in the big picture and how you contribute to the big picture? Recognition, communication, and upgrading of skills. This is the summary, and this is something that has to be done to manage the manpower. And let me tell you, this manpower, yes, it is a large amount of it is coming from villages, because the question you asked, their skills may be at the base level, but I get so thrilled. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm active on LinkedIn. I get invites now from housekeepers, and I get such pleasure in accepting those invites. It's absolutely brilliant. And they're very savvy with the mobile, and they're able to do things very, very well. Today, there are branch managers in our organization who started their jobs as electricians or housekeepers. There's so many supervisors who have grown up the ladder. And, it's absolutely wonderful to see. There is a lot of spark. There is a lot of energy on the ground, and people have come here to the cities, worked for a few years, made a future for themselves. Their children are going to good schools. Some of them have become, I'm talking about the children of security guards, they've become IS officers. They're in good posts. And it's such a, it's such a wonderful, it's the most motivating factor for me to be in this industry when I look at this people aspect. I hope I could answer your question.
Yes, sir, you have. Thank you so much. Sir, one more question. Sir, in what way do you think would the facility management companies be affected by COVID in realizing their short-term and long goals?
See, there is one is I have spoken enough about that how the companies are affected. The facility management companies have changed. Their roles have essentially changed. But if you're talking about from a business perspective, financial perspective, if some of the industries are down, like the hotels, the entertainment sector, malls, cinemas, if they are closed, automatically our revenue get affected from that sector. But on the other hand, there are new requirements coming up, and of course, you have to charge for those services. So things like sanitization, some new models are evolving. So my company, the moment Corona was launched, within 10 days, we launched a new service called Tenon Prime, which was around specialized cleaning, which was about around sanitization. And you're most welcome to visit that website. But trust me, uh, this is when you say never waste a good crisis. This crisis is what taught us to innovate, and we came up with Tenon Prime. So companies have got affected negatively and positively, and net, I think a new FM chapter is emerging, and those who adapt, it's good, and it applies to all of us. And those of us who are not able to adapt to this new scenario would definitely get left behind.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now open this in for question and answer. If attendees have any question, they can type in and we can take them up. And I would request the panelists also, if you have any questions, please mute yourself and speak and ask the question, please.
We have few questions from our attendees. First question that going on is, what should be the new standard that housekeeping should adopt during this pandemic? Updations of standards. That's a question there.
Okay, so I see the thing is that the standard should be it should be industry wise. Now, for example, when we sanitize, how do you sanitize? There are different ways of sanitizing a premises. So what does sanitization mean? And when I said that we launched a service called Tenon Prime, we came up that, in our opinion, this should be the sanitization standards when you are sanitizing and securing a building. When you're entering a building, what should be the various checks at that point of time? So a lot of these things are defined. So the question that you specifically asked, let me answer you first technically. Technically, Ministry of Home Affairs, MHA, has issued a lot of guidelines. When you open the office, this is how you should open, this is what you should take care, this is what you should do. And if you're looking at the prescribed norms, you will find them in less than a minute. But every premise, every location, every hotel is different, every industry is different, and every industry brings its own challenge. So you have to really see from start to finish that, look, this is the business I'm running. This is the kind of these are the kind of things that I'm having. So this is what needs to be really done. So, for example, I was telling you about cinemas. When you open cinemas, how will you open them? Will you go buy tickets normally? Will you go and buy popcorn in the same way that you bought earlier? Will you sit next to each other, or will there be some distance? Should we leave 2 seats? Should we leave 1 seat? These are all standards, and cinema companies need to actually come up with these standards. Similarly, when you're making cars or automobiles, you need to really adapt to the general guidelines. So there are general guidelines. Go to Ministry of Home Affairs. You can download them in a minute. But look at your premise. Look at your home. Look at your college, and see what all you need to do. And you will get the answers, because all you need to do is, as experts, because you guys are studying this business professionally, you can sit in a room, you all have all the knowledge, all the tools, the internet is full of knowledge. Sit down, decide, and you are the people who will know the best on how to sanitize, manage, protect your stakeholders.
Thank you, sir. So we have one more question from the attendees, Mr. Michael Santiago. He is asking, how can we develop our skill in work during this time pandemic? If we are work from home aspect, if we are working from home, how we can, sharpen our skills, develop our skills?
I think this is the toughest question that is that has been posted. And for me, I'm sitting at my home right now, and being a people person, I don't like Facebook. I like face to face. You know, and ours is a people industry, and I still prefer going location to location, traveling, meeting people. But um, now, how can we upgrade our skills? That's the question, right?
Yes, sir.
So now, now what I do is, uh, if you, it's as I said, it's a tough one. So now unfortunately, I do VCs with a very large number of people. We even do VCs today with a group of housekeepers and with a group of security guards, and definitely with our managers. Our VC schedules start at 7:30 in the morning and they finish at 9 in the night because we are trying to reach out to a large number of people. But question is, how do you upgrade your skills? Now we have forums like these, and I believe I'm upgrading my skills by interacting with all of you. I'm personally learning that how do I actually get something done without sitting in a room with 20 people. And that is a bigger challenge, but we are managing, we have adapted. But I really miss that personal touch and that, that face to that sort of excitement that face-to-face meetings bring. And I also believe there is a huge challenge because yes, you can run the businesses, you can change, you can do VCs, everything. But for innovation, I think it's really sometimes important to meet. We are now going to our offices 2 days in a week so that we meet and we don't miss that personal touch. But there are a lot of skills to upgrade. You can read, you can learn. I've learned how to manage through Blue Jeans and WebEx and your Google and all the media that are there. But you got to do it. You got to do it. And at this point of time, upgradation of skills and learning through the computer and the mobile is absolutely essential. And the classroom learning is also changing today. So I'm pushed to the living room of my house because in all the areas of the house, my children are doing their classes, my wife is doing something, and I hope we are all upgrading our skills on the net. But somewhere I miss that people touch, and it's a real tough question.
Yes, sir. Kulmohan sir, you can ask your
from
question.
Kulmohan,
Yeah,
Sorry?
sir, you can unmute and ask your question. Mr. Nitin, that's Mr. Kulmohan, our head of placements. He has a question to you.
Good evening, sir.
Nitin, I'm sure in the mix of business that you have mostly offices, commercial centers, and all that. But at the same time, for the past almost 4.5 months, the schools, colleges, universities, and many other places which house a lot of people are all closed. I'm going to say, how has that affected your business? Because I'm sure you would be doing a lot of universities and institutes and various polytechnics and various other things.
So we are doing institutes like IMT Ghaziabad, Sidhan Shivnadar University, BITS, Goa, quite a few of them. So, but 10% of our businesses are closed completely. So there is an impact on revenue from, you can say about between 10 to 15%. And these are units that were open earlier, but now are closed. But some of them have still taken the distance to maintain their facility, to look after their staff, and they're still paying us. and we are maintaining those facilities. So we are still maintaining the gardens, the institute, and we are still cleaning, although with a lesser number of staff. At the same time, new opportunities have come up, and every crisis comes with an opportunity. And as John Cruyff said, the famous Dutch footballer, and I spent some time in Netherlands, and that's what I learned. I lived there for 3 years, where they say that every disadvantage is an advantage. We are also getting a lot of business which is sanitization related, and people are asking us to do more. And I would like to tell you, there is an insurance company that we manage on a pan-India basis. We provide housekeeping and security to that insurance company across the country. They have, if the job profile of a security guard there was X, it has become 5X today. And they're happy to pay us more and happy to pay the security guard more as well. So the security guard entertains the customers, collects the checks. Their own staff are coming, lesser number of staff are coming. But our security guard has really stepped up. So there are opportunities that have come at many places. There are some areas where we have suffered, but there are many opportunities that have come up. Are some of our new products which are sanitization related have picked up tremendously and done extremely well. But the net, the point is that every crisis, every disadvantage has an advantage, and this is how I see it, sir.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions from Victor? Sir, I have a question.
Question from Apurva.
Do you have any?
Apurva has a question.
Apurva has a question. Sir, please ask.
Yes. What precautions should be taken by the department after the hotels reopen? You know almost all the precautions you talked about it, but any specific thing they should be looking at in housekeeping?
Okay, so from a housekeeping perspective, I think today if you go to a hotel, so first is I would say when you enter a place and who's entering and who's that is the most critical part. And I know somehow it's not related to housekeeping, but if you're trying to control the environment, the entry point I would say is far more important than housekeeping. And I will not speak about that, but once you've secured that, then you go to the next level, and that is from the housekeeping perspective. Secondly, the housekeeping staff, they need to be very clear what they need to do, what they not need to, what they don't have to do. So there needs to be a proper SOP written, depending on the industry, depending on the premises, that if there is a surface, for example, if there are sofas, then how often will they be cleaned? How often they'll be, because this virus sits on surface. So how often they'll be cleaned, how often they'll be secured, what chemicals you'll use, in what quantities. So every organization needs to write a very clear document from a housekeeping perspective, that how you need to protect the premises, the people, and this document needs to be communicated very strongly. And I'm recommending videos. Nothing works better than videos, because you see it, then you do it, you believe it, and then you do it. And then those SOPs have to be adhered to. And that is where the role of managers, supervisors comes in. Is it done or is it not done? How's the monitoring done? We are doing monitoring of some of these things electronically. So now the question is, this disease is there. Now the question that you ask, what precautions, what does hotel needs to do? Actually, the protection of this is very, very simple. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe the surfaces again and again. There are some very simple rules. And if you follow these simple rules, you'll be safe. So what I'm saying is, look after the entry, who's entering. If a person who's infected enters, there's very little that can protect you. Because how do you know that you are sanitizing at that moment? What if you sanitize after an hour? So entry point is very critical, even more important than housekeeping. Then there are some simple rules, as I've said. The implementation of those simple rules is very, very critical. The rules are very simple. Sanitize surfaces, wash hands, don't touch face, wear the mask. But how many people are wearing masks? So does it happen that you're meeting people and you say, okay, yaar, theek hai, and I'm not wearing my mask? In my organization, we have all agreed that if we see people not wearing masks, we'll give them a communication in writing. You have to wear masks. Because we need to, if we can't protect ourselves, there is no way, as hospitality professionals on this forum, there is no way we'll be able to, protect other organizations. And people need to trust us. Yeah? If we can't look after ourselves, then we won't be able to look after others.
Thank you, sir. Sir, do we have any panelists have any questions or? Sir, I have a question for you. It's related to cost a little. So what unique methods do Tenon adopt for cost effectiveness amid ensuring a complete satisfaction for your client? I do understand now you have to incur more cost, but still, there are organizations or industries which demand cost effectiveness. So is there any unique methods which you adopt?
So we tell our customers. So first of all, it's hard to reduce. So one way to reduce cost is if you do more for your clients. Imagine if someone comes to manage your premise. He says, okay, I'm doing X, but now I'll start doing 2X. But you don't have to pay me 2X. So if a security guard takes up bigger roles, earlier I was doing these 5 processes, now I'll do these 10 processes. That's an automatic cost saving. But there are no shortcuts. But nowadays, lesser people are attending office, so your the expense that you make per square feet is sometimes reduces. That is also a factor. But there can be no compromises. But really, there is only one way to satisfy your customers and manage the cost. And I would say that one single way is you understand. And this is my only message to the 20 odd attendees, students that we have, and to the esteemed panel that we have here, is that we are not. If we position ourselves as cleaning professionals, if we position ourselves as hospitality professionals, I don't think we'll be able to justify our cost, and people will look at us our costs. Many of our customers have stopped seeing us as costs. So what we tell we try to understand what is the strategic objective of our customers, and we help customers achieve that strategic objectives. And if we do that, and if it is done by us as hospitality professionals, people will never see us as costs. So I've spoken so much about cinemas. In cinemas, the key thing the customers want is patron experience. What kind of experience you give them, and how you can, as housekeepers or as FM professionals, how you can add to that experience. If you look at IT professionals, they don't look at housekeeping from you. They don't look at facility management from you. They say how you can contribute to the retention of people. So if you give them a good environment, and if people are happier in that environment, and if you contribute and if you make strategies around that, cost is never an issue. And I can give you examples of n number of industries, to the banking and insurance industry, to some of our banks and financial industry. We give them services, we give them organized facility management, which is fully compliant. in all corners of country, right from Andamans to Agartala to everywhere else in the country. Our 80,000 people, they're all over the country. So, how do we give them that experience at the least possible cost? Single invoice, single point of contact, minimum admin managers. There, you've reduced their transactions, you've reduced number of suppliers, and to many of these people, we are the single suppliers in more than 200 locations. We give them a single invoice, organized state-wise, a single point of contact, a technology platform where they can see all their, transactions. So it becomes very simple for us. So that's how we really do it. That's how we give them cost advantage.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
That's Mr. Saif. Mr. Nitin, that's Mr. Saif for FFD.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello,
Sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Very much so.
Sir.
How are you, sir? So just one question, sir. Like nowadays, if we see like all multinational companies or big organization, the scope of facility manager is in demand. So what, as per your point of view, what will be the future of a facility manager like after 5 year or 6 year down the line? So where a person can see himself, like if he is into the facility management.
Sir, if the facility manager works, in my opinion, if he works towards the strategic objectives of the company, he'll be sitting in the boardroom. Otherwise, he'll be looked as a person who's maintaining the building. So if the the objectives of the organizations are X, and he can really understand that how he's able to give that objective, then he'll be really sitting on the boardroom where the most important decisions are being taken. Otherwise, he'll be looked as a peripheral.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Anybody has any questions? I think, sir, Nitin, sir, you have answered all the questions and all the queries what we have, and you have given us a real scenario of how facility management looks like and what it is. And thank you so much, sir, for your time, for your, you have come to us and you accepted our invitation. So thank you so much. Garima ma'am, if you would like to say something. And sir, I would like you to meet Mr. Laura Giron. He's our director virtual. Laura, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, sir. Very well, thank you. And it's
nice
difficult
meeting
question you asked.
These people are terrible, I know. I work with them every day. Actually, I am a bit of a colleague of yours because I also take care of the maintenance and security in the university. So we are doing a bit the same job, and plus this Vatel thing also is there. But my main occupation is the campus, overlooking the campus.
Right, so pleasure meeting you, sir.
We are colleagues. Pleasure
Absolutely,
meeting you too, sir.
We all are on this forum, sir, but pleasure meeting you.
And I've taken good notes also.
Okay.
I like the idea of sending letters to people who do not wear masks. I think we'll start that tomorrow.
I was thinking that only when sir said that. I was thinking that only that Laura sir is going to do that.
So if any of you receive a letter, please. I think I'm really sorry about it, but.
So very nice to have you, sir. It was a pleasure, and thank you for coming, and thank you for this. I think there was a little bit of confusion at the beginning. I'm sorry, I also could not get in the forum, but Sunil worked out some plan B, I think. So that's good. And we hope to see you on campus one day. If we reopen, we have a wonderful team of chefs, and they cook with the students on daily basis, and usually the lunch is pretty okay.
Love to, sir. Love to, sir.
And if we are lucky, Dr. Garima will do a creme caramel.
Right. I
Yes,
think
Garima will do it. Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dave. It was indeed a pleasure to have you and listen to you. And as Laura sir said, and I also said that we have to meet in person and you have to come to our campus. We'll send you a proper invite once all this is behind us. Thank you so much once again for sharing your time.
thank you, Dr. Garima, and thank you to everyone on the panel and also the students, who were bearing with me for so long, and really appreciate. And please feel free to contact me at any point of time. Really look forward. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, Channa.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Bye.
so much. I thank
Bye-bye,
all
sir.
the panelists and attendees who have joined us for this webinar. Thank you so much. And stay tuned for our next webinar, which is tomorrow on New Age Tourism in India by Mr. Sunil Gupta. So thank you so much. Thank you, Nitin sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.